It's very awkward to describe, really.
It's respect.
To get our choice.
Effective communication.
I suppose the way you hold yourself, how you behave.
Independence.
Treat the person how they have the right to be treated.
I've got my own personality, my own identity, and I want to keep that.
People's mental well-being and their spiritual well-being.
That I'm valued and that everybody is worth exactly the same.
Dignity is a
Since 2011, Partners in Care has been working with organisations from France, Belgium and the Netherlands as part of a project called Dignity in Care. The aim of the project was to improve the quality of care for those people who use adult social care services, with a particular emphasis on dignity in care. As part of the project, 2 facilities in the Netherlands and Belgium were used, known as Stimmel, which have been set up to look and feel like a care home. Over the last couple of years, over 50 owners, managers and care workers from across Dorset have had the opportunity to go to Stimmel, where they've taken on the role of someone who is being cared for by local healthcare students, to find out what it is like to be looked after and the real meaning of dignity in care.
When I go out with the new recruits in the community, I do obviously mention my experience and set them the task to be reflective about the way they are caring.
The reflective leaflets for the relatives and the clients, which was very valuable, so that the information that was gathered out of the Stimmel experience, it was able to be transferred.
Our company are now looking at recruiting around personalities.
Every time I heard changes in your behavior, in your action, in your attitude, but you also start to think, how can I put my experiences into something that will make a change for the people who are dependent for care, and that's why Stimmel is there.
We were told that during the night there would be a shift change. It was then explained to us that maybe it could be male or female carers, and that was when I felt the first sort of pangs in my tummy of fear. Every day in the care setting, that's what we hear from residents. I wanted to get across to new starters this feeling of anxiety, this understanding of what it must be like. So, during induction, I talked to them, and I talked to them a little bit about dementia, and then they have a tea break, and then I say to them, so you think you're on a training course? And they look a bit around the room. Well, actually, this is your home now. This is a care home. This is the lounge, and these are all your friends now. I tell them that I've changed the codes on the door. They're here to stay. And in the minute, I'm going to take them along and show them their room. And then I say to them, what if this was really true? If you were coming to stay in this care home and this was real, how would you like to be treated? People start to write, I want to be treated with respect. I want to be offered choices. And so by realising what their reactions to these things can be, they would understand how the residents feel.
So, my taking away from this experience, a great deal of understanding of really what things feel like. You're trying to get someone just to do one little thing and they really don't get you or understand.
One of the things we have made sure we do a lot better is involve the people we support in our training. For new staff in particular, just so they could get a feel of the other side really. So one of the guys I support helps with equality and diversity training. Another of the guys I support helps with total communication and person-centred planning.
I meet and greet people and they have to sign up for interviews. We devise the questions. It's important to me to choose my own staff.
I'm just sort of basically going to advise you, obviously, with speed bumps and sort of.
We've also, as part of our training, we do a driver awareness course where people taking the driver awareness have the experience of travelling in a wheelchair, blindfolded, to see what that feels like. You know, get swung round corners, over bumps, and a lot of them do get a bit of a shock, particularly when they're blindfolded.
It was a real experience. It was quite shocking.
It made me realise that I've put my trust in other people, because I couldn't see where I was going or anything, because I'm usually a bit of a backseat driver.
It'll make me definitely think about making sure I'm talking them through what I'm doing a bit more. Yeah, it has helped because it's a lot different feeling being in a chair than it is in a seat in the car.
You're allowed to park.
It's to show that we can employ the best staff, the best drivers.
There are three main points in setting up a stimul experience. The first one would be a good preparation, even if the experience is only a couple of hours or even 15 minutes feeding each other. They should be aware that being deprived from control is very difficult for our society and our culture. And the second one is the stimul experience itself. It's a training that involves the total person and their feelings, their emotions, because they are being submerged into the world of somebody else. The longer the experience is, the deeper the effect is. Even short sessions should be guided by somebody who had that experience by him or herself, so that they understand what people are going through. And the third one is the reflection. At the end, every reflection should start with a debriefing moment. Just ask people what they felt. If I feel that way and I can go home after half a day, what must it be if you're dependent for care for the rest of your life? Do you think your care receivers feel the same, and what can you do with it? Why are they so uncomfortable when they feel they have no control? What does that mean? Do you see the same things in your practice?
So when I took the blindfold off, I gradually opened my eyes, and I was not sat where I was expecting to be sat. And I based my case study on you.
Yes.
Which basically meant that I wore a blindfold for 24 hours.
Yes, that's
so
right.
I wasn't able to
That's
see
really
anything.
nice.
I also wore a weight on my arm, so I was unable to use my arm.
Oh, yes.
So when I came back, I said to the other girls, when you approach Jean, always just say, you know, Jean, it's Grace.
It's important that you tell me who you are when you first come up. I think it's important. Everybody, you know who they're talking to.
One of my memories was when the carers took me into the lift, and they didn't explain to me that I was going in a lift.
Oh, yes,
So I went backwards down the slope, and I felt like I was gonna fall out.
Yeah, I want to know everywhere where I go.
Yeah.
It does help.
You've got to have complete trust in your carers, haven't you?
Absolutely, yes.
I was playing the role of an elderly lady with dementia who is not good with eating. She plays around with her food. It felt that it was such a long day from morning to night. It just was endless. But the highlights of the day was meal times, and this is where all the residents got together. After about 5 or 6 mouthfuls, my plate was just whipped away, and I thought, I'm still hungry.
Wendy came with quite a lot of ideas, the importance of nutrition and how important it was that it should be a very good social experience, because she said each time she as a resident felt she's waiting for the next meal.
So we introduced that the staff could sit and eat with the residents, this being that the ones who forget sometimes how to use a knife and fork, we find they were beginning to copy us, and they were beginning to start feeding themselves again. And nobody is allowed to take a plate away unless we're really satisfied that they are absolutely full up. It's helping everybody, not just the residents, the carers as well. And meal times are really, really a special time now here.
I've been asked loads of times, what's the most valuable experience I've learned? Basically, I was just hungry all the time and everything revolved around food. Hey Dorothy! So what I did when I got back, I thought I'm going to start a tuck shop for the residents. The food here is wonderful, but sometimes you just want a bit of rubbish or some healthy fruit. So we go around with the tuck shop and it's proved to be really popular. We've got chocolate today, we've got fruit of oranges, bananas, grapes and apples.
Bananas then.
I'll get you a banana. Some grapes.
You may have something like a Mars or a banana.
Yes, what you choose. So what do you fancy?
Good.
And you, oh, well done. It's the chocolate that's shifting today.
Whilst nutritionally balanced meals and fortifying foods to prevent malnutrition remain really important, having nutrition students at Stimmel has highlighted the significance of the mealtime experience in maintaining nutritional status. Are all clients being given good food choice, including those on limited diets? Maximising sensory appeal through the clever use of herbs, spices and strongly flavoured ingredients. Think about having themed mealtime events and, if possible, stimulating appetite and adding variety by going somewhere else to eat. And of course, attention to dignity, such as staff empathy and inspiring independence to make one's own food choices.
In between the activities and the meals and things, although they were good and I enjoyed making cakes and going shopping, there was a lot of quiet time where you're alone with your thoughts. That made me think a lot about the people that live here. Although we have a busy activity programme, there's always going to be sort of downtime. So it made me think more about helping people spiritually and mentally and thinking about a sort of happy mind. So we introduced a garden of relaxation and contemplation where people could go and be alone with their thoughts. It was just supposed to be a relaxing place, and it's got a water feature and the plants are all sort of herbs and different smells, and we focused a lot on the colour and mirrors. I introduced Holy Communion to the home because although individuals bringing their own sort of vicars and people from their own religions in, we felt that it would be nice for people as a group to be able to do that together. We also introduced Tai Chi, which is a seated and a relaxing way of people moving and a form of meditation. Do you think the Tai Chi is beneficial, David?
Yeah, I do Tai Chi every day.
Oh, so you practice a little every day?
Yeah.
That's good.
I teach it to my stepson.
You teach it to your stepson?
And then my friend.
And your friend? What do you like to do after Tai Chi?
I draw.
You draw?
Yeah, every day.
My bath time experience was wonderful. A little bit nervous at first about having to sort of strip off and be washed by two complete strangers. I was taken into this room that was lit so beautifully. There were strobe lights dancing all over the walls. In the corner there was a big optic fibre light just glowing and the most wonderful tranquil music playing. In the bath they put some aromatherapy oils, bubbles. It smelt delicious. Anyway, my fears went completely, and this made me think, our bathrooms are so plain at home, they're so clinical, and perhaps this is why sometimes residents refuse to be bathed. The bathroom just needs to be made more personal and cosy.
We have to find a way to do things. We are changing the rotas so that there is that enough time for bath. Give 2 hours instead of 1, and it becomes an experience rather than it's just a bath. We do a lot of fundraising, so this activity room was raised from the fundraising. So the next year's fundraising, we are trying to get the bath things. It's a bit expensive, but it is having the time to treat each person as an individual.
It was really nice when a couple of the carers came up individually and sat and chatted with me for a minute or two, and you could just have a conversation person to person. It's just made me more
aware of how people feel when they're being visited at home.
My name is Mary. I'm 53 years of age. I'm a full-time wheelchair user and have been for the last 30 years. What is important to me when somebody comes into my home is A, that they respect me home and they respect my choices that I make.
There are clients who've said that they would be happy to meet on a monthly basis.
One of the topics that we want to cover is dignity and what dignity means to different people. The last meeting, well, he was thinking about introducing uniforms for the carers, and uniformly we were all against it for all different reasons.
I've been involved in writing a course about promoting dignity. We send out a pre-course questionnaire to the staff. What do they understand by dignity? When do they feel that their own dignity has been upheld? When have they felt that their dignity was compromised? It gave us a really good start point. We'd set up part of the room and then we just took the roles of a client and a carer. If they didn't understand from what we said, I hope they understood by what they saw. We had a client's wife who came, and that made it again really real in getting her feedback on how her husband, who was blind, was looked after. And at the very end of the course, there would just be an evaluation. What's your understanding of dignity now that you've done the course?
As a result of their experience, the people shown in the DVD have really felt what dignity means to them. They have changed how their team works and their thinking, as well as their working environments and methods of communication, ultimately placing dignity at the centre of the care and support they provide.
Skills for Care, the Sector Skills Council for Adult Social Care in England, works with employers and the workforce in our sector to ensure that everyone who is providing care and support has the skills, knowledge, values and attitudes to provide truly person-centred, high-quality support every day. The Common Core Principles for Dignity have been produced in close collaboration with the sector based on the needs, aspirations and wishes of people who need care and support to live independent and fulfilled lives in our communities, and to ensure that the workforce understand how dignity must be at the heart of that care and support every day. Value the uniqueness of every individual. Uphold the responsibility to shape care and support services around each individual. Value communicating with individuals in ways that are meaningful to them. Recognise and respect how an individual's dignity may be affected when supported with their personal care. Recognise that an individual's surroundings and environments are important to their sense of dignity. Value workplace cultures that actively promote the dignity of everybody. Recognise the need to challenge care that may reduce the dignity of the individual. The 7 principles have been produced to ensure that the workforce and those who employ and invest in their learning and development understand through clear guidance and practical toolkits how to ensure that dignity is at the very heart of person-centred care and support every day.
Having taken part in Stimmel and then subsequently worked on dignity and the Common Core Principles, I've understood what dignity in care means, because prior to that I might have understood that something wasn't quite right, but I didn't understand what it was. Where someone's dignity isn't respected, then it will have a huge impact on the care.
For more information, please visit the Dignity in Care Project website, the Partners in Care website, or the Skills for Care website.